You are wasting your mental ability in the same way that many people squander money in small daily doses without realizing how the essentials are gone. The real danger is not knowing little, but having your attention scattered around the world and, worse, conform to it. If nothing changes, in a year you will be the same person, only older. But there is a simple method that, in just 7 days, can transform your way of thinking. Here there are no empty promises or spectacle, only practical wisdom tested over the centuries. Imagine your mind like a lit candle on a wind day. You rise in the morning, but you spend all day with the widened windows, notifications, infinite feeds, alien emotions, 10 tasks at the same time. At dusk, the flashing flash is weak, and you conclude that the problem is a lack of talent. Your mistake. The problem is not in you, but what steals your focus. The biggest lie you swallowed is subtle. Just consume information reading, watching, listening to get smarter. It's not like that. Accumulating without reflecting turns your head into a warehouse, not a workshop. A warehouse only keeps, a workshop transforms raw materials into product, idea into action, thinking as a result. Let's be frank. Even if you donate, you are not unable, you are distracted. You are not exhausted to learn, you are exhausted to spin and false. His brain was not born lazy. He was like this because of his habits. And this is the good news. Habits can be reformulated. An ancient tradition teaches, before speaking, listen; before acting, stop. The strength is not born in the noise, but in silence. It is in pause that you see what really matters and what, sneakily, will suck your energy day after day. Here is the technique of which I speak. Just the silence is born. It's so simple that it looks silly, and that's exactly why we postpone it. Ask a question now. When it was the last time you stayed silently, without screens, to ask you a single important question and write down a single answer? Not to roll the screen, not to save a link, but to write. If there was no such moment this week, you are still on autopilot. The autopilot is comfortable, but will never lead you to places for which there is no predefined route. You fear silence because it echoes the truth. In it is heard that a lot that occupies his hands does not feed his mind. In it is clear that fatigue does not come from work, but from the waste of energy in meaningless exchanges. In it is understood that it is time to stop being a fleeting and assume the steering wheel of the journey itself. 7 days are little, but 7 days of discipline change a trajectory. If you direct your attention, fix a thought, ask the right question, and take a small step every day, you will be surprised by the speed with which your mind is clarified. Noise decreases, depth grows, and simple solutions appear where there was only frustration before. I know you've heard similar things, but listening and acting are distinct realities. Most give up on the third day because they do not feel an immediate transformation, but you remain because you understand the mind is not a fireworks, it is a fire. It needs to be fed the right way, or races. In a moment you will receive a practical script for these 7 days. It is not magic, no promise of miracles. It is discipline, and anyone who really wants to strengthen can keep it. You now decide. Turns your mind with a warehouse into a workshop, or leave everything as it is. If you accept the challenge, in a week you will understand that you have been recovering something that has been lacking for years: clarity, concentration, internal levers. The number 60% will no longer be advertising and will become your personal statistics. You often believe that success comes from great jumps, a scam of luck, a decisive meeting, a unique opportunity. But the truth is different. The mind develops not by chance, but by discipline. And the most destructive habit, the one who steals his strength, is living in expectation. Expect the perfect moment, the ideal humor, the inspiration. Meanwhile, the days pass, and inside you persists the feeling that it is not the time yet. But reality is cruel. There will be no more time. It only exists today. Note how this is manifested in everyday life. You decide to read a book, but advance for the night. At night it is tired, and the book continues on the shelf. Plans to organize the week, but a notification distracted you, and you convince yourself, I do tomorrow, day after day, year after year. These are not unimportant details. It is a self-sabotage strategy, a slow poison that dulls the mind and poisons life. What's worse is that you realize the loss, but repeat the same mistake, as if mesmerized. A proverb says, whoever says today steals from yourself tomorrow. It is not a figure of language. It is the exact mechanism. Each delayed action is a stolen chance. Then you look at those who advanced and think, they have more talent, more contacts, more luck. Why, they simply postpone less. Imagine a field. You can plant one seed a day or wait for it to join 1,000 to sow at once. As you wait, the earth fills with a bush, and your neighbor, which plants a daily seed, reap the fruits, not because his land is better, but because he has not waited. This is the mind. It grows not by Herculean efforts, but for small actions done today, not tomorrow. You may think, I learn, read, hear, but if everything is just in my head, it's illusion. Wisdom begins when thought becomes action. A phrase noted in the notebook is worth more than 100 pages read because it is fixed. A step taken now is more powerful than 10 promises because it changes the course. It hurts to hear this as you already remember dozens of unfinished things. But this is where the game should be turned, not blaming itself, but choosing a starting point today, now. You don't have to change everything at once, but you need to start. The mind is sharp when you give you a sign. I own my time. No hostage to the postponements. Remember, each postponement is a brick on the wall that separates it from the life you want. Each small action completed is a crack on this wall. When cracks multiply, the wall collapses, and you finally see the path that has been blocked for years. These 7 days are not a magical week. They are clarity training. If you accept the challenge, you will understand. The mind does not strengthen when you read a book, but when you take the pen and synthesize a lesson. Not when you dream of the future, but when you act in the present. Your future starts when you stop waiting. And if it has come here, there are no more excuses. Just one choice remains. Keep stealing from yourself tomorrow or take the reins today. There is a paradox that many ignore. Mental poverty is not from lack of knowledge, but from the excess of useless information and empty actions. You can devour books, watch speakers, collect inspiring phrases, but if everything is and I know not and I do, the mind does not evolve. She stagnates. And the more you accumulate without applying, the heavier is the burden of illusion. The more you advance the passage to action, the more opaque your mind becomes. Jewish tradition has always emphasized wisdom is not what you know, but what you do. Abraham left, not only heard. Moses led the people, not only spoke. Each step, even the smallest, is worth 1,000 promises. Why? Because action weaves knowledge in the plot of your life. It becomes part of you. Today you can test this simply. Take a notebook and write down a single sentence. What will I do today, right now, to sharpen my mind? It may be a book page that you will not only read but will summarize with your own words. It may be a question that will ask yourself and will answer honestly. Suddenly you will realize thought becomes sharper, clear consciousness, more focused attention. But here a trap is hidden. You will say, this is too simple. How can such a small action become 60% wiser? And that's exactly where your greatest enemy awaits you, the habit of devaluing the simple. It seems to the human being that change requires something grand, complex, monumental, but the mind is not a stone that moves at once. It is a muscle that strengthens itself with daily exercises. Think, if you just take a conscious step a day, in a week it will be 7, in a month 30, in 1 year 365. Now compare this with those waiting for the perfect moment to start. This can spend a whole year without taking the first step. This is why the mind of some sharp, while that of others gets empowered. You should already feel an inner resistance. I already know that. But knowledge without practice is dead weight. The mind only comes to life when knowledge moves its hand, when it turns into ritual. So don't wait. Decide now. I will train my mind. As I train Amsel with small steps, but every day. Imagine how you change in just 7 days. In the first one, write down an idea. In the second, apply it in a conversation. In the third, someone notices that you react more calmly, more attention. In the room, it begins to see patterns that previously went unnoticed. On the 7th day, he looks back and realizes your mind is faster, deeper, more flexible. It is not a miracle. It is the mathematics of discipline. Every day you deposit a coin in the piggy bank of your intelligence or throw it into the wind. If you have the courage to take 7 steps in a row, in a week you'll see your brain working in another way. Don't expect someone to push you. No one will come. You have the notebook. It has the pen. It has today. The rest is excuse. And excuses never made anyone wiser. Note how people spend hours arguing, repeating others' ideas, sharing links, but in the end their minds are no longer clear. It is the illusion of movement without movement. The voice is tall, thoughts look deep, but behind there is only empty. Jewish wisdom has always warned, words without actions are like smoke. They can blind you, believing that there is fire, when in fact there is only air. The secret is that the mind does not grow with debates, but with silence and internal work. The sages do not become wiser for talking more, but because they know how to shut up and hear themselves. A rabbi once said to the disciples, do you want to be wise? Learn to close your mouth at the right time, for this is when observation is light, and it is the observation that sharpens the thought. There is, however, the most dangerous habit, the constant race behind the opinion of others. You open news, read comments, expect someone to say the right thing, but while waiting, your mind weakens. Every thought of others you swallow without chewing steals a piece of your clarity. It's like eating without ruminating. The stomach is full, but there is no energy. The solution, ridiculously simple. Establish a personal rule 10 minutes daily of silence and written. Sit down, open the notebook, and write down your thoughts without filter. It may be a doubt that disturbs you, a fear you fear admit. Then reread. Suddenly you will see a pattern that once escaped. Make no mistake. These 10 minutes are not little. They are an investment in your mind, which acts as compound interest. One day it seems insignificant, a week, and you start seeing new layers in simple things. A month, and people go seek their advice. 1 year, and you live on another level of understanding, even if, externally, everything seems the same. But this is where the strength or weakness of character reveals. Most will say, I don't have time, and with the sentence they sign their own sentence, because there is no shortage of the notes lack time for change. Time passes, and they continue to plunge into noise, while the mind, like the body, requires training. If you do not reserve even 10 minutes for her, it becomes lazy, like a muscle never used. It may seem too simple, but it is just the simple one that works. No one got wiser, further advanced, everything for later. No one has become clear waiting for the ideal moment. Thousands, however, break their lives exactly because they do not cultivate the habit of the small steps. Look around. The world is full of information, but so few have a clear mind. Why? Because clarity is not born of the amount of knowledge, but the practice of thinking for itself. And this practice is built in silence, in paper, step by step. Your notebook can be the place where your new destination is born, but only if you decide enough of empty words, only actions, just silence, just honest notes. The rest is noise, and the noise steals years of your life. The question is, will you take the first step today, or, once again, leave it for tomorrow? Most live as if their thoughts were the background radio that cannot be turned off. From dawn at dusk, they repeat the same complaints. I have no strength. I have no money. I won't make it. They themselves turn words into currents that tie their hands and feet. But there is another way. Who recognizes the poison in words and refuses to swallow it. Jewish tradition teaches a word can kill faster than a knife. It can steal hope, cut their wings, make someone give up. If you repeat every morning, I can't, it's not just a sound, it's a sentence you sign against yourself. It is not a mirage that the mind stops opting solutions. You have already declared your own defeat. Now imagine a different morning. You open the notebook and, instead of the usual complaints, write 3 lines. Today I choose to be strong. Today I choose to think clearly. Today I refuse to say I can't. Simple words, but they become a shield against chaos. Thus the habit of replacing toxic thoughts with others that strengthens. But beware, resistance will soon emerge. Your mind will whisper, this is silly. It does not work. Better rolling the news or spying on the lives of others. And this is where everything is decided. If you give in, the cycle closes and you again feed on the noise of others. But if you resist, if you remain in the silence for a few minutes, you will notice something. Inside you opens a space where you can hear yourself. Wise people are not those who accumulate more information, but those who dominate the art of filtering what enters their minds. They act like guardians from a portal. They allow only what strengthens, block what weakens. This silent discipline becomes a visible force to all. Do an honest exercise. How many times have you pronounced phrases that drain your energy? I don't have time. I'm very tired. I'm not ready. How many opportunities have they escaped between these words? Each of them acted as a self-realizable prophecy, weaving an invisible network that limited its steps. Now imagine the opposite. What would happen if, instead of, I don't have time, you say I'll find 10 minutes. If I exchanged I'm tired for will I take a small step anyway? If I replaced I'm not ready with I'm learning now, it's not magic, it's reprogramming. The big ones, whether wise, entrepreneurs or scientists, rarely had ideal conditions, but they had something in common, an internal vocabulary that kept them moving. His words did not describe reality, created a possible reality. It was this daily choice that made their minds resilient and fruitful lives. Think of words like seeds. If you plant weeds, do not expect to harvest fruits. But if, in the morning and night, sowing strength phrases, in a week you will notice the change in mood, in a month, in relation to work, and a year, towards all your life. The question remains, will you continue to feed on the poison of automatic sentences or decide that, from today, your dictionary will only have words that make you grow? Or is the subtle trap? Many believe that words have power only when they turn into action. Mistake. Each verbalized thought is already in action, only invisible. It shapes habits, program choices, and guides you to results that you don't even imagine. Reflect. If anyone repeats I'm a failed every day, will you risk a new project? If I murmurs I never have luck, Will you see the opportunity you pass by? Your eyes may be open, but the mind is already closed. He lives in a prison built by his own words. In Jewish tradition, the word barch blessed is not just a desire for good, it is an active recognition of the power source. Therefore, the day began with a blessing not to God, but to himself, adjusting the mind to see meaning in what would come. Modern psychology confirms gratitude and positive formulation activate new neural connections, alter perception, and even physiology. The opposite is also true. Those who wake up muttering another boring day, another routine curses their own dawn. And so, without realizing it, it builds the day on a heavy, sticky, corrosive foundation. But there is a way out. Learning to detect poison in seemingly harmless phrases. This is difficult turn I'm learning to deal. I arrived late because I will organize myself not to repeat. I can't give way to I'll try. Small exchanges, immense effects. As Cal Newport wrote, attention is an asset, and where you direct you determines the life you will have. If your mind is busy with words of defeat, you will not see opportunities even when they are at your feet. But if you nourish your attention with a power vocabulary, even a modest idea can become the trigger for a change of destination. When was the last time you consciously chose the words of your repertoire? We clean clothes, organize houses, even filtered social networks, but we rarely purify what really defines our existence. Language. She decides whether you will be hostage to the circumstances or author of your story. Forces and saying no to words that steal your energy. That those who support it. This is the first step to anti-fragility. When the world shakes, you remain firm because within you, it does not echo the voice of defeat, but that of resilience. And when the time comes to give up, they will be your words, and only they will decide who wins, weakness or discipline. Start small. Tonight, write down 3 phrases that should no longer be part of your vocabulary and 3 new ones that will be your fuel. This simple ritual has the power to redirect its way. After all, fate does not become one day. It transforms when, each morning and every night, you choose different words. Words are not just reflexes of thought, they are keys. They open doors that release their potential or lock them forever. In Jewish tradition, each pronounced word is like a stone thrown into water. Ripples extend far beyond what the eyes see. You can forget what you said, but your words come to life, shaping reputations, relationships, and even the course of personal history. How many destinations were destroyed by an immense phrase said in anger? How many ties did they break through a careless word? How many opportunities have been lost because someone whispered to themselves, I'm not worthy? It's not just sound, it's a brand we record in our own soul. The sages taught, silence sometimes is worth more than gold because it preserves strength. But when you speak, your words build, don't delay. Modern psychology proves the language we use to describe the facts alters our perception. The same event can be called failure or lesson, and this choice changes the entire trajectory. Stop and think. Why do the rich get richer and the poor often remain in poverty? It's not just a matter of money, but the words they use to think about it. Some say, I need to save or die and live in fear. Others say, every step is an investment. Even the difficulties are contributions to the future. But there are even more dangerous words, after, one day, not now. How many dreams died from these 3 syllables? They sound soft, but act as poison. Those who repeat them daily get older without ever taking the step that mattered. Jewish wisdom recalls, the most valuable we have this time, the passage of life given to us, and the words we choose reveal how we treat it. Then means contempt today. Not now is refusing the power of the moment, but only now it belongs to you. In fact, be honest. How many times last week did you postpone something that could change your life? How many times did you say no today? And how many opportunities are it because of this? Remember, words either drive you forward or pull it back. There is no neutrality. Even silence is a choice. But when it is empty, others fill the space with his words. Therefore, select your language with the same care to choose what you eat. You are not poison for yourself. So why feed your mind with words that destroy it? Right now, you have a choice, keeping in your life the words that weaken you or replace them with those that strengthen you. Want to accelerate changes. Forbid yourself to use 3 sentences. Won't work. Then I do and I'm tired. Change them for, I'm learning now, I'm recovering, and I find a way. In a week, you will notice that not only your mood improves, but your actions as well. After all, fate is not the work of chance, it is the result of the words you repeat every day. The most dangerous lie a person can believe is this: my words have no power. This is not true. It is an excuse that hides weakness. The reality is that every word you pronounce creates a new cycle in your life. Either you strengthen or surrender, often without even realizing it. Ancient wisdom teaches the word can be a weapon or a medicine. With one word, it is possible to light hatred between brothers, with another, reconcile nations. A word can save someone on the edge of the abyss, another, push it into the fall. The word is a seed. It can grow like a leafy tree or as a poisonous bush that chokes to from the garden. Modern science confirms this. Psychologists have found that the words we use to describe us activate neuron chains. If you repeat every day, I'm exhausted, your brain comes to accept fatigue as standard. But if you say, I can, your brain begins to look for ways to prove that this is true. What you say aloud, or even murmurs to yourself, it becomes a program installed in your mind. Think about how many people impoverish just because they repeated nonstop, I have no money. This phrase became a self-realizable prophecy. Meanwhile, others, even with modest salaries, said, I know how to deal with money. I'm building my prosperity. And, step by step, they achieve success. The word never breaks a life alone. What destroys her are phrases like I will never get, will never change, will never work. These words are currents that you put yourself on your ankles. The more repeats them, the heavier they get. But just change them, for today is difficult. But I'm looking for a solution, and the doors start to open. There is the great lesson. No one can take from you the power of the word, except yourself. You can use it to your advantage or deliver it to random. The question is, what words are you going to fill your days tomorrow? Eliminate from your vocabulary the sentences that destroy. After, impossible. I was not lucky. This is not the language of wisdom. It is the language of slavery. Replace them with words that build. Now I'm learning. This is my choice. And repeat it every day, even in the small details. Today, say, I'm grateful. Tomorrow, act. In a week, this will become part of who you are. In a year, you will no longer recognize yourself. This is the strength that the sages called the foundation of wealth, not just material, but the soul. Remember, destination is not forged by the hammer of circumstances, but by the words you choose to pronounce. If you want to change your life, start with language. Think different today, and tomorrow will wake up in a different reality. You are stronger than you think. It's not weak, just forgot the power of discipline and purpose. Recover it. Take responsibility for each word, and your life will become what it should be, a path that you go with pride and conscience.